Hi, it's Evie, and it's Friday, and it's bird cage cleaning day, so we're going to get started. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking the grate and the tray out of the cage and bring them around to the kitchen. Yes, actually, the grate first. And I'm going to wash this with as little water as possible so that I don't get any inside the frame of the grate there. I've gotten not these particular ones wet before, but some of them so wet that I have to tip them up diagonally and drain the water out. And I really want to avoid that so that they don't rust. So I'll put a little bit of water and soap on an area that's got a little bit stuck on and then come back to it. And it usually wipes off pretty easily. I have to swap it around back to front and then turn it over after that. I do have two bird cages to clean. I'm only going to show cleaning one of each. But trust me, I did both. I'm going to take this tray, and it has puppy pads in the bottom of it, which absorb any water from the bird taking a bath. And of course, the poo-poos. There's feathers on here, so I'm trying to roll slowly and pinch the ends together so I don't get a poof of bird stuff out in my face. Just wrap it up like a dirty diaper and throw it away. As you can see, there's nothing stuck on the metal, so I'm just gonna kind of shake it out a little bit. And then I use two potty pads to line the bottom of it. And they overlap a little bit. I suppose I could cut one of them down, but I choose not to do that. They actually fit very well. This way is longer. If I were to turn it the other way where the rectangles were the other shape, it would be just a little bit, maybe like half an inch to 3/4 of an inch difference. And I'm going to go back into the bird room now, and I'm going to vacuum any feathers I see on the side of the cages and any little pieces of food. And I only do this once a week when I clean the cage out. I usually, clean underneath the cages. I try to do that daily. Once in a while, I miss a day if I get really busy. And I've got two air purifiers. I don't know if they're really purifiers. They filter the air, and they work really quite well because the filters do need to be cleaned about once a month. And there's always stuff in them, dander and itty bitty feathers. I put some plastic, well, not plastic, vinyl up on the windows to give a little bit more privacy. When I've got the blinds open, people can't really see in and see the bird cages. I don't suppose they look nice up against the window anyway, but I can let the light in without letting everybody see in. Or, if the bird cages don't really look that nice from the outside. And I try to vacuum the feathers off of the floor, like gather up in the corners, and then I just take a broom and sweep. And I'm getting up little pieces of poo with the rag in my hand that they've spread around from flying, which is usually an everyday thing. But it's not too bad, like I said, if I keep up with it every evening, clean it up, it's not too bad. Nobody's molting right now, so the feathers are not a real big problem. But boy, are they when they're molting. So I'm closing the blinds down now, and I'm sure the birds can hear from the other room that we're getting ready to go into our cage for the evening. And usually Chloe is ready to go in. She's ready to settle in for the evening pretty early. And Benny will do it because she's doing it. He likes to stay where she's at. And I think they do like their cages and where their cages are, so they don't mind going back in. We'll swap out some fresh food and water here. They both eat Rowdy Bush most of the time. Right now, going into spring, they'll start back on more fresh stuff again. In the wintertime, for whatever reason, they don't seem to like a lot of cold, fresh foods, or even the Bird Street Bistro that I make for them. They're just not into eating that. And when the weather starts to warm up some, and I don't know, they know what season it is, then they're ready for more fresh stuff again. But I was cutting it up every day and nothing. They just like look at it, take a taste, and then leave. They were done. So we took a break from it and we'll get back into it. Maybe we'll do that this weekend. I don't mind making the chop for them, but I do like for them to eat it. Usually make a salad for ourselves while I'm chopping them up, their food. Getting the cages all put back together now. And I really like this little metal flap that keeps the grate in the bottom of the cage from being kicked out on the floor. Some birds can figure that out. You can see she'll stay there all night. She's like, I'm good. And then he's like, oh, we're leaving. Okay, here I come. Take them in here, put them in their cage. And there's Georgie, the little budgie up there, flitting all over the place. She's like, it's too early. I'm not going to bed yet. Sometimes she goes in early and sometimes she doesn't. There's Benny going in his cage. Just be on the perfect branch before he takes his little treat. And now we're going to clean Georgie's cage. Now we're going to clean this little budgie's cage. I don't use a liner in hers. It's easier just to kind of clean it out. I bought a set of extra dishes for food and water for this cage so that I can run them through the dishwasher, you know, once or twice a week. She's got poop on the branches. Probably should move this branch because there's always poop on it. Okay. She loves this cage because she hangs. Well, not her, but the cage hangs, and she likes to be up higher than the other birds. I've given her a bigger cage before, and she doesn't like it. She likes the little cages, but she comes out every day, so she gets exercise. She's the hardest one to get to bed. She's a night owl, a night budgie. I got this little cage at Petco, and I actually like it better than the ones I could find on Amazon for the size. And I wanted something a little bit bigger than what I could find on Amazon, and I just like the shape of it and this door. And she eats mostly seeds. This is a homemade seed and grain mix. She ate more fresh stuff as well as, what's the word I'm looking for? Pellets and so on. And then the older she's gotten, she's kind of stopped. She likes her seed mix, which even has bee pollen. It's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. So that's it. That's a pretty easy little cage to clean. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good weekend.